Well, I'm disappointed that it's come to this, and I know many parents will be really worried about upcoming strikes. What I want to see is everybody getting around the table and resolving these issues. They can be resolved, and the sooner they're resolved, the better.
Are the teachers right to continue to strike, though, and reject this offer?
I'm disappointed that we're still in this situation.
Are you disappointed with the government or the teachers?
I think both sides need to get around the table. What we've seen in these disputes, there have been many disputes over the last 6 months or so. It needs the government and the trade union to get round the table, to compromise and to agree a settlement so that we can have our schools open and our other public services are working properly.
OK, so Keir Starmer, they're saying that he is disappointed that those negotiations broke down. The union did not agree to the latest offer. So Keir Starmer in Hartlepool, he's been meeting with community members affected by antisocial behaviour, and he also spoke about child exploitation. Let's have a listen to that.
Child sexual exploitation is a problem, and we should do whatever we can to bear down on it. When I was Director of Public Prosecutions between 2008 and 2013, with my Crown Prosecution Service, we brought these cases. The first Rochdale grooming case was one that I gave the green light to. So there's a bit of frustration here with the government because for a decade we've been calling for stronger measures, things like mandatory reporting, and the government's turned a blind eye. So anything can now be done to improve the situation. Well, yes, good. But I think the question for the government is, what have you been doing for the last 10 years?
Is the government right to think about ethnicity, perhaps gather data on this? Or is Tracy Brabin right to think when you start talking about this, it's dog whistle politics?
Well, look, ethnicity is important and nothing should get in the way of investigating, prosecuting child sexual exploitation. But if you look at the overall figure, that is, a relatively small element of it. That doesn't mean it's not to be dealt with, don't get me wrong, but if we are not clear about the full picture, then we won't have a proper response. So I want a government that recognises the full response that's needed here, and a government that really has been behind the curve now for a decade. Very many of the measures I was calling for 10 years ago, the government still hasn't done. And it's not tackling online issues. So there's big gaps in something which is 10 years too late. But look, we'll work with anybody to improve the situation here.